For more on this, let's bring in Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg, former National Security Advisor to Vice President Pence and Fox News contributor. General, great to have you here. As we await the president, what do you believe his next move should be?
Well, the president's next move ought to be as hard as he can possibly be on Putin and just demonstrate presidential leadership, because this is just on the first phase of what's going to happen. I made a comment the other day, we're only probably in Act 3 of a multi-act play, and we don't know what the end of it is. Sandra, I've got to just depart for a second, because Putin said something that is really disturbing to me. When the other day just yesterday, he said that if the West gets involved, the United States and NATO, you're going to have consequences you've never seen. People need to understand what he's saying. It's code, and it's code for nuclear war. And because that's how they fight. Their philosophy, their military philosophy, is to escalate, to de-escalate. And they have got over 5,000 what we would call tactical nuclear weapons, sub-kiloton nuclear weapons that they could use on a battlefield. And I've reached a point now where I believe Putin is just destabilized enough that he would do something like that. So the president needs to understand that. So if he is thinking, well, we're going to apply economic sanctions and it's going to be okay, and he's going to, we're going to get a good reaction from Putin on that, he shouldn't. He needs to understand he's a global leader. He needs to take some very heavy-handed measures against Putin, rally the entire globe against what Putin is doing, because Xi is looking at this, President Xi of China, Kim Jong-un's looking at this, the supreme leader in Iran's looking at this, and if we don't put Putin back in a box, then we've got a problem. Everything that was done yesterday and the day before, that doesn't count anymore. You have to start thinking about today and tomorrow and the next few weeks going forward.
Hey, General, it's John here. Let me just get back to what you were saying there about the use of tactical, if there were such a thing, nuclear weapons. I mean, how would he employ those?
Well, he's got an ability, John, to do that, because it's in his military philosophy.
But against what targets?
He would use those against installations. He would use those against troop units. He doesn't. Those are not city killers, but they are unit killers. And if you use a nuclear weapon on a battlefield, and you think like I do, to me there's no such thing as a tactical nuclear weapon. But it changes the whole dynamic of a fight. Could you imagine if a nuclear weapon goes off, what will be the reaction of those other three nuclear powers facing him today, the French, the British, and the Americans? It destabilizes the entire battlefield. And he doesn't have to use them against a city. And why would he be going after Chernobyl unless he was looking for an excuse to say, well, there's been a nuclear explosion up near Chernobyl or some type of reaction? You have to start thinking a little bit out of the box with this guy. And where's he going? You and I don't think like that, because to me it's irrational. To him it's rational.
General, if you could stand by with us as our coverage continues on the Fox News channel. Thank you very much for joining us. John?
Sandra, joining us.